Hey guys, welcome to What in the World? Steve. Okay, today I'd like to talk to you about a long time friend that I don't get in touch with anymore. How are you, Ding? I really miss you, man. I know that we've lost contact because of the fact that you're in Vietnam, and the only way that we got in touch back in the day was because we used a home phone and you actually ring me from overseas from Vietnam. Man, I mean, how much would that cost you, to call me from Vietnam back in the day? Okay, so here's the story. Ding was a overseas Vietnamese overseas student coming to Australia to earn English. But how I ran into him was my dad used to run a restaurant in the North Shore and where the beaches were. So we had a Mongolian barbecue restaurant. And then what had happened was my dad usually hires overseas students to use as a kitchen hand because he was a tight ass. So he pays them less, and that's when I ran into Ding because on the weekends from Thursday to on Sunday every day after school I'd catch a ferry over there, and then do the waitering and the bartending. So I worked with Ding, and then there was this one night. It was a weekend night. It was a Friday night. You know, we had a few unhappy customers. First of all, when we because it's funny because in the Mongolian barbecue we have about 4 meats, 12 different vegetables and fruits and stuff, and also 10 different sauces. So what happens is in that Mongolian barbecue you have to mix your own sauce and add your own ingredients tailored to your liking. So that's actually very good, right? So if you can eat chili, you can eat chili, but if you don't eat chili, then you can just tailor it to your own needs. That's the best way to do it. So this table of customer, right? This table of customer says to me, hey, just come over here for a sec, mate. I go, hi sir, how can I help you? Mate, this food tastes shit, And then I said, oh well, I apologize for that. But you are the doer of your own, you reap what you sow, sort of a thing. Because how much ever you add in ingredients is what the flavor will taste like. So you're the creator of your own dish. The barbecue and all that's set, the chef cooks it for you, and then you have what you have. So what sort of flavor would you have liked it? A little bit less spicy or more spicy? Let me help you out. But seriously, I really didn't have much time then because on Friday and Saturday nights I was very, very busy. I was sort of you can say a one-man show, man. I was the bartender, I was the waiter, and I was also the bill taker. So I was running around in a restaurant that sits 80 in capacity people. It was a pretty big restaurant. So I was just flat out, So I just said sorry sir, you're gonna have to mix it in the way that you like it, And he wasn't very happy, So he started swearing at me. And then I went into the kitchen, and then I said, oh Ding, man, I just have some really bad customers, man, And then Ding was chopping up vegetables at the time, and he goes, oh, bad customer? He no good you? And then I said, no, it's all right, it's okay, He goes, and then he grabs the kitchen knife out, and he goes out to the customer, and he goes, yeah, you want to do me? And the guy goes, whoa, 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 and then they leave, So that was the end of that. Yeah, so the week on, during the weekday, at about 5:30, 6 o'clock, yeah, Ding calls me, and he goes, because I used to have a mobile phone back then, it was analog, those water ones, so he can call me directly, So, so he goes, Steve, yeah, what's up, Ding? Fight, fire, come here, fight, And then I thought, oh shit, those customers might have come back to cause trouble, So the first thing I do is call my friend from school, my Lebanese friend, hey bro, got a problem at the restaurant, you gonna help me out? And he goes, oh, just come over and scoop me, I know he was very hesitant because he's never involved himself in those situations ever before. But I think the reason why he said yes is because, like, for his love of me, of course, but also because of the fact that I always stand up for him. Like, he loves his arcades as well. But in my suburb where we used to live, like, we used to have a snooker parlor, which had arcades and like snooker tables. And then one day, like, he was playing his arcades, and then like, because he's a bit of a smart ass, he's a bit witty, so he must have offended like, some Vietnamese gangsters that were there. So like, the Vietnamese gangsters, like, like started like getting the cues and then started chasing him while I was playing Street Fighter. And then so I hear his name, and I hear him call me. He goes, Steve, And had a look, and I went, oh shit, So I went and tended to him, and the Vietnamese guys that were holding the cue sticks, I know because he used to be like, my neighbor back in the rough suburb that I used to live in, And then I go, hey, bro, he's with me, friend of mine, And then so the Vietnamese neighbor, like, which is gang member now, he's got a few like fellas under him and stuff, and he goes, he's with you, is he? And I went, yeah, he's with me, schoolmate, yeah, no fighting, and then so he looked at me, and then he goes, okay, so him and his brothers, like, throw back down the cue stick on the floor, and then left it at that, and I said to my Lebanese, like, schoolmate, hey, it's okay, we're good, but don't act smart again. I don't know actually what happened, but anyway, I cleared up that situation. So it must have been one of those incidences that, like, he thinks to himself, man, Steve always sticks up for me, so if he has a problem, I'll stick up for him. So, and then like, and then I call my Greek friend, and my Greek friend goes, yeah, just come over. He's always so gentle and cool. But you know what? When it came to a situation, he agreed straight away. And you know what? He's not violent and he's not a fighter. He's a lover. Yeah, and they stuck up for me straight away. I don't remember if I called my bestie that day because he was a bit hard to get to, because he's only got a pager. You can only call the, phone company and then leave him a message. So he has to go to a payphone in order to respond back to you. So I can't remember whether, like, he came with me or not. But then, like, I called another one of my overseas student, like, friends. He was Chinese. And he was having a relationship to my family friend at the time, But I rang him up and I go, hey, bro, got a restaurant incident, man. Need your help, man. And then he was very hesitant because he started living with her at the time. But he still came out, So there we go. In my first car, it was a yellow submarine, I go and pick up my Lebanese, like, friend. And then, like, he's so good with the ball. So he comes out with a cricket bat. I go, oh, is that your weapon of choice, is it? Well, it's all I have, man. And I go, okay. Throws the cricket bat in the boot. And then I go to my other mate's house, And then, like, he just comes barehanded, But he had a baseball bat. He had a wooden one. Yeah, that was a wooden one, But anyway, I had a steel one, yeah. So baseball bats in the back. And then we drive, and then I go to another suburb to scoop my, like, honky, like, Chinese, good mate. And then he comes out and he goes, okay, let's go, I don't think he brought any weapons, but, yeah, I think we had a few baseball bats, a cricket bat, and also I had my steel pole, which I always have. We drive all the way from my place to the North Shore, right? And then we get to the North Shore, and then we get to my restaurant. We all exit out of the car, and then we're like this, And I go, Ding, what's wrong? Who's here? We're here, And then Ding looks at me, he goes, he sees us with, like, carrying bats and, like, cricket bats. And then Ding looks at me, he goes, no, fighting, fire. And then, like, me and my, like, schoolmates all drop our bats and drop our, like, cricket bats and drop our poles and, like, baseball bats. And then we look at my restaurant and it's actually ablaze on fire. It's so Ding, when he rang me, he didn't actually mean, like, the guys, like, came to, like, come and cause trouble and stir trouble. He actually said, Steve, fire! Which we thought was a fight, And then so we looked at our restaurant going up in blaze. There was about two or three like fire engines there. And then we were looking at it like, falling a light, and then like, as we dropped all out like bats and like cricket bats, we just go, and then I walked up to my father because I saw him just out there having a cigarette, and I go, Dad, what happened? And then he goes, shh, it's all right, it's cool. I go, it's cool? Did someone burn our restaurant down, or was there an arsonist, or what was it, Dad? And he goes, no, it's cool. Tell you later. Shh, it's all right. Everything's good, And I went, all right, cool. So you know what had happened? So apparently my dad's a tight ass, right? So in order to maintain the restaurant, he actually like leased upstairs, because upstairs there was like, a living room and about 2 or 3 bedrooms. It was a very big place, but it didn't have a kitchen. So what the Chinese students did, like, when he leased the bedrooms and stuff up there, he used to use our kitchen fridge and then use our kitchen in our restaurant to cook. And because like, they never ate anything during because, they're students, right? So they never ate out. So every time they came home, they starved themselves all day. And then when they came home, then they'd like, go to the kitchen in the restaurant and then start cooking, right? But after the Chinese student cooked his meal that afternoon, he left the stove on, and that's what caught fire. Yeah. So, yeah, then our restaurant got burned, and then we wrapped up the business after that, and we didn't continue it. But Ding, if you ever see this story, actually I think I probably got your address book somewhere, like in one of those little notebooks. I swear to God, man, if I go to Vietnam, I'm gonna call that number. I'm gonna see if you're around, man, because I miss you so much. And since you've gone, I met An Hai, and then me and An Hai started clubbing together. But that's another story that I've got. The clubbing stories with me and An Hai. Yeah, but yeah. So I used to drink with Ding a lot, like because we got to a very close relationship. After like finishing at the restaurant, we'd drink together and then stuff, and then like he'd tell me what he'd do. But yeah, me and him go way back, as in like he actually ended up telling me what he'd done during the day as well. But that's another story. So, Ding, fire!